carrying on. So now you're going to be playing Invoker. First thing to note is what. Okay, so Invoker. What is your thinking process behind picking Invoker? What are you thinking? Okay, so also what? All right, let's take things one at a time. What was your thinking process when you picked Invoker right now?
I just want, I don't know, I just wanted to play Invoker mainly.
Okay, so you just picked
Wasn't,
Invoker because you want to play
yeah,
Invoker. All right. So you need to have heroes who you can pick pretty much every game. Heroes who don't get countered. Heroes who don't really give a shit what the lineups are. Right. Invoker is
yeah,
not one of them. Invoker is you most of the time when you pick Invoker, you are countering yourself. In this game, you just countered yourself by picking Invoker. You're already starting off the game by giving yourself the maximum disadvantage you possibly could. If you'd gone for a cost Vex Invoker, I would have been it would have been a different story. But obviously, that's not the case. That's why I'm
yeah.
saying Invoker as a whole. Now,
Hmm.
first thing, first thing is Invoker is a farm intensive hero. There's two different kinds of mid. Well, there's three different, but let's just talk about two. There's two different kinds of mid heroes. There's a farming mid and there's a ganking mid or space creating mid, right? So Invoker
Yeah,
can be played as both. Vex is a space creating ganking mid hero, and Exort Invoker is a farming mid hero. So when you've got a farming mid hero, you need to be very, very careful about your carry, because if you've got a farm intensive carry, super farm intensive carry, and you've got a super farm intensive mid laner, you're gonna have a bad time because there's only so much
yeah,
gold on the map. Because you've also got a semi core offlaner who also depends on farm, and you might actually end up having a support hero who needs farm, and you might actually in your bracket especially you're gonna have a jungler or a roamer who's also depending on hero, and there's not enough farm on the map to distribute all of that net worth. And what you're going to end up having is underfarmed invoker, underfarmed or underfarmed mid, underfarmed carry, underfarmed entire team. Your entire team needs items to do their job, and they can't farm up those items. Whereas the other team, if the other team is just as bad as you guys, team wise, it's fine. It's all good. But if the other team is slightly smart, for example, in this lineup, you've got Alina who is not super farm intensive, can gank as well. So it's like almost like 0 to 100. She's like 80 in the farm to gank,
hmm,
whereas Invoker is more like 900 almost. I would say Exort Invoker is just 100. You don't gank at all. And then
yeah,
you've got a super ganking Bloodseeker, doesn't need a ton of farm. You've got a Darkseer who creates his farm. It doesn't, he's not going to take anybody else's farm. In fact, this team lacks some farmers, if anything. So these guys are going to come online pretty damn quickly. Lena might turn towards a much more farm intensive hero because of this lineup. I think is this a Venji carry? Yeah, it might be a Venge carry actually. I don't know. We'll see. Um, Either way, point being, in this particular game now, you've got an anti-mage. Not only do you have okay, so even if these three heroes were whatever, even if you're looking at these two, you do not have. There's no synergy between anti-mage and invoker, just because you're both so heavily dependent on the farm. Now you're gonna have anti-mage who's not gonna come for any team fight, any sort of team fight contribution for about 30 minutes at the minimum, right? Similarly, Invoker is not going to contribute to any team fight, not in a significant way, for at least 20 minutes. Exhort Invoker. So you've got these early 20 minutes of the game where this is a 3v5 situation. Now look at the enemy team. There's nobody who really comes online late. These guys are going to come online around 10, 12, 13, 14 minutes. And then they've got these 7 minutes they are free to do whatever the hell they want. And that is the advantage that they're going to gain, which is going to be almost impossible to come back from, unless obviously somebody in their team throws. But it's whatever. Um, but that's not the worst thing right now. It gets worse because you've actually got another carry-ish hero in the Phantom Lancer, super farm intensive carry hero, and then you've got a jungling Legion commander. So you can say goodbye to net worth in this game, right? Like your entire team. And then you've got a Crystal Maiden who can't support for shit because Crystal Maiden is like a 4 position support, not a 5 position support. 5 position Crystal Maiden. Crystal Maiden needs items to be effective. Horrible movement
yeah,
speed, horrible mobility. No damage at all. So, well, damage isn't the issue, but it's like, okay, you're gonna frostbite and ult. Well, you're not gonna get in range ever because by the time you get to the place, you don't have a blink tag, you don't have any force tag, you don't have any items because your entire team is taking up items. And if you go greedy and you actually go jungle and do what you're basically supposed to do, somebody whoever is in your lane is just gonna get wrecked, right? So um,
Yeah.
so you just mm, you know you need to not play Invoker is what I'm saying, or really
Okay.
you could make sure that you pick heroes according to the team lineup. Like in your bracket, looking at your bracket, I think this is definitely the lower 2K bracket. Um, you need to be picking very versatile mid heroes, something like Lina, who can be a ganking mid or a farming mid depending on the situation. Versatile. Anyway, so the Sunstrike. Why did you throw the Sunstrike? What was the
I
purpose?
usually throw it to check the enemy mid's inventory to see how much regen they're gonna bring. Just to
Yeah, but
see
all right, all
early, so
right.
I know what I
All right,
expect going into lane.
that's a good answer, but what you should be looking at is everybody's items. Like how many wards are they taking? Are they even there? Did they maybe they've smoked and already left? That means they've got some deep wards already. All of this information. I mean, it's completely useless for your bracket to be very honest with you. But if you're
Yeah.
throwing out a Sunstrike, they might as well check those things. All right, carrying on now. Starting items wise, um, honestly, I'm not a big fan of Null Talisman on Exort Invoker, even though lately I have seen some pro games in which the people are definitely starting off with a Null Talisman. But the biggest problem you're going to face in this game, we're going to see, is you're going to have a very hard time farming with anything because you're going to run out of mana. And when it comes to mana management, Invoker is just horrible with all these nerfs, especially like with the latest, well, not just the latest nerf, all of the latest nerfs to Invoker. It's almost unplayable. I'm not even sure why pro players are playing it. Like he's got a horrible win rate as well in pro games. So it's like I don't know. I really don't know. But yeah, point is that look at that. You've already been zoned out of the lane by this um, Lena, and your situation doesn't get any better later on because you can't use Force Spirits, right? Because
Yeah.
let's be honest,
Just
like Lena is
Dragon
just
Slave,
gonna
it'll just die.
yeah, this is just gonna die to Lena. And even if they didn't die to Lena, you don't have the mana region to support your uh, constant force spirits. It's just not possible. What you can do is alacrity constantly, and that is what you're going for. But once again, you actually don't have enough mana region to use alacrity after it got from 45 to 60, right? So he's very lucky that this guy isn't really aiming for you. He doesn't even care about you, to be honest, right now. He's like, I'm just gonna go and farm. He actually, literally, if I was him, I would have actually aimed it towards you, but he just doesn't care because he's like, I don't worry. I'm not worried about the invoker. So that's really sad when you're in this position where the enemy mid doesn't even think you're worth even like a creep. So actually, I take that back because there is a Crystal Maiden, so you do have the Crystal Maiden aura, so that's obviously really, really plus. And she's actually maxing it out, so that's really, really good. That's really, really good. So yeah, so now what I want to see you doing is constantly using alacrity, not standing in. All right, now she's actually going for you as well. But yeah, constantly just use alacrity. Where are you going now? See, this is the thing. This is the thing that a lot of people do a lot. Right. So what are you afraid of? Against Lena, what scares you?
Her Dragon Slave
The
and
Dragon
her
Slave.
attack range.
The Dragon Slave, right? Because you've also got a attacker. So she just used Dragon Slave. She's not going to use Dragon Slave again in this creep wave. Why don't you just go up and right click her? You use alacrity. You get much more damage than her. Right now, you're afraid for Dragon Slave, but she doesn't have it anymore. She's not going to use it anymore. So what are you afraid of? You know, once somebody
Yeah.
uses, I see this a lot with OD. People are afraid of his astral. You astral somebody and they still stay back. Why? That's the time you play up. When they don't have, like, this is the time she doesn't have Dragon Slave right now. Obviously now is a different situation because you just lost all your HP. Now you look okay. So the next thing that I was going to talk about was Sunstrike. Now, Sunstrike is the one way that Invoker can contribute all over the map, but a big issue with Sunstrike is that it's not guaranteed damage, of course. So
Yeah.
you have to use Sunstrike when the enemy is stunned, right? So for you, it's going to be almost impossible because what you need is communication, right? The Crystal Maiden needs to communicate with you. Hey, get ready to Sunstrike. I'm gonna stun the person, and then you Sunstrike because the reaction time that you're gonna have, and you look at the mini map, you click on the mini map, and then you most likely, Crystal Maiden would have already used her stun. So you most likely never gonna get that. So you need to maybe talk to the Crystal Maiden that, hey, I'm gonna contribute Sunstrike, but you have to tell me before you when you need it and before you use your frostbite, so that I can land it as soon as frostbite is thrown out.
This CM in particular was actually pretty good around that. About
Okay.
that. Yeah. They were communicating a lot.
All right. That's good. All right. So one thing that I'm gonna add here is that you actually shouldn't have pushed this lane, but you did push this lane, right? So you push this lane. This creep dies at 45, right? 45. You start moving. You go over here. You stack it, and you come back. Right? It takes 6 seconds if you have boots. Less than 6 seconds for this one. To take 6 seconds to stack this one. I think this one is
Mm-hmm.
5 seconds. So at 50 seconds, you get there. 53, you pull, and you're back here by 48, right? Sorry, 58. You would have missed, I think, one last hit, probably. It's not safe to go there anyway, to be honest, because Dina is going to throw out a Dragon Slave pretty soon. See, that last hit you would have missed, and you would have started, you would have been back by now, by right now. Yeah, you didn't even get those two last hits. It's a complete waste of time. In fact, if you just stayed in the jungle, it would have been more beneficial. Point is, you need to start looking for, if it's a hard lane where you can't get a lot out of the lane, you need to be thinking about other sources, sunstrikes, jungles, these things. This lane is completely being, overrun for you. You have 17 last hits at 4 minutes, which isn't too bad because the Lina is, not really taking the maximum advantage that she can. But point is that still you're struggling, and you're struggling more because of yourself rather than Lena, because you can definitely play better. Lena uses Dragon Slave, you can just start farming. You can use aggro to pull the creeps back. You can push out the wave fast and then go to the jungle. You can pull the wave back, stay on your high ground. There's like 6 different things that you can do. You're not doing any of them. You're just letting things happen the way they are happening, and that's not good. And that again comes all the way back to what I said initially, where you need to learn about these mechanics before you start concentrating on learning how to play Invoker. Not to
Yeah.
mention, not to mention, Invoker is so heavily nerfed right now. It's like not even worth playing him. All right. Another thing that I'm not a big fan of is you putting max points in Exhort. You should have had at the very least 2 points in Cost and then put the rest in Exhort, because level 1 Cost only gives you 3 HP region. Level 2 Cost gives you 9 HP region, which is more than a Tango, right? 9 extra HP
Mm-hmm.
region, right? Um, Lena is destroying you with her constant spam. You maybe even want to put 3 points in Cost. I don't know. Depends on the lane, depends on how good the Lena is. But you're doing completely the opposite. You're not even acknowledging that you have a device to deal with Lena's spam. And also, like, you can put max points in Exhort if you can get a Sunstrike kill every 2-ish minutes. Then it's also worth it. But you haven't thrown out Sunstrike once in this entire game, except that, you know, first time in the base or whatever, which isn't even, don't even count it. So should definitely be thinking a little bit more. Just should be thinking a little bit more, essentially.
Yep.
Anyway, I'm gonna turn fog off, because don't need to see the. All right. Yeah. So it's been quite a long time. It's been 6 minutes, and well, I really want to say you should have started stacking at the 4 minute spawn mark. Um, you get your 4 point in Exhort, and then you can go and throw out a meatball in the stack. You'll have maybe a 4 stack, throw out a meatball, maximize your farm, get all your farm back, get all your, you know, it's your comeback. That's your comeback mechanic,
Yeah.
right? Right now, you did get 200 gold off of that kill, which is fantastic. But it's just 200 gold. You're way farther behind. 200 gold is 4 last hits. You're 31 last hits. Lena compared to you is 41 last hits. So okay, taking that kill puts you at 36. Um, is still far behind. Quite a far, quite about 300 gold behind, and you would have been ahead had you been stacking. Obviously Lena could have been stacking as well, but she really doesn't need to because she's getting a lot out of this lane. See, that's a little bit late, and might cost you. It's because you. Okay, those uphill misses. Nice, nice gang by
Yeah, I
CM,
should
and
have
that,
done Sunstrike earlier.
and now it's
Right when
gonna
the root
put
happened.
you. Now you're gonna go above the Lena in the net worth. In the net worth, if you just stop missing last hits. All right. So far, not too bad. Just a little bit of inefficiency, not understanding that there's ways you can come back, and there's ways you can, like, if this was a higher level Lena, she would have been stacking, and she would have been taking a lot more advantage of her. Let's see what happened here. She would have been taking a lot more advantage of her superior potential in the lane, superior matchup in the lane, and you would have been struggling a lot more. There's no way you would have gotten 37 last hit. Wait,
It's
you
just
were in
Bloodseeker. It was
Bloodseeker. Yeah, yeah.
Bloodseeker.
Took me a while. Took me a while to figure that one out.
I was confused too when that happened.
Uh, could have used stick, but I don't think it would have helped that much.
Yeah.
And now you're gonna fall back down. It actually ends up being worse for you. Getting that Lena kill actually ends up being worse for you because now she actually gets more gold from killing you than you got from killing her. You got like 200 gold for killing her. She got 350. So GG. you know. But yeah, again, comes back to the same point. Had you been, what are you doing? Oh, here we go. This is amazing. This is the best thing in the world because that right there is a big mistake. Going for that gank. That's not your job. That is not what you're supposed to be doing. As an invoker, yes, it ended
Yeah,
up
I
being
wanted to
that.
go farm that, and then the CM was like, "We can get the kill." I think it
No,
was
the thing. Oh,
the reason
you
that
might actually die. You actually might die. You are gonna die, aren't you? If this Venji not have a stun? She does have a stun. Did she not? Why? Yeah, I don't know what. Oh wow. Okay, you did end up dying. You did end up dying. Let's see the net worth exchange, and I want to see how good or bad it is for you, right? So the total of all that happened in this lane, you getting kills and all of that, you got 2 kills, I think. You get
yeah.
a total of 71 gold out of that. That's like 2 CS, less than 2 CS. So again, if you had not gone to gank, even though initially it looked like it ended up being a good gank, but sometimes a gank will be good, but 8 out of 10 times it'll be the bad decision. 10 out of 10 times is the bad call, but 8 out of 10 times it might end up netting something positive for you. But what
Mhm.
this means is now you're even further away from your Midas. You would have
And
had your Midas had
our
you
mid tower got taken.
had you not gone for that gank, yeah, and your mid tower got taken. Had you not gone for a gank, 100% you would have had a Midas by now. But now your Midas is 600, 500 gold away. So is not a good thing when you're getting a Midas past the 10 minutes. And your team is getting shredded everywhere. You still there?
Yeah, I'm
Hello?
here.
Oh, okay. And the anti-mage is dying as well, and he is dead as well. The enemy team has 1.5k. Okay, 2k. 2k net worth advantage. Swinging it back a little bit, and that's it. That's what you should be doing. Just contributing with sunstrikes. You cannot. You should not. You have to not go and gank. That's really bad when you gank as an Exort Invoker. Also, you need to start stacking a little bit more. Also, you need to start thinking about, um, you know,
So I didn't
you
know right here if it was worth it for me to
no
Midas
no
these small ones or to
no
walk
no.
over to the other camp after
Yeah,
farming.
you made the right call. Ended up being a shitty one, but okay. All right. So right around this time, there's two things in your inventory that you desperately should have had. One, mana regen. Two, TP scroll. Mana regen could have been raindrops. Could have been raindrops and some what's it called, clarities,
Yeah,
or I think raindrops for plus clarity would have been the best situation right now.
I had a
But
clarity on me that I just used while I was
yeah,
farming that.
I was
And
just
I
about.
also I had the CM aura, which is why I felt like
Yeah, I
it
keep
would be
forgetting
fine.
about the CM aura. But even despite the CM aura, it doesn't matter if you have or don't have the CM aura. Look at your mana region. You're not sustaining your farm right now. You can't sustain. No, sorry, not your farm. You can't sustain yourself right now, and you're dead. Uh, or not. Okay, you're fine. Yeah, you can't sustain in right now. You need to be able to have enough mana regen so that you can stay in the jungle, keep farming without needing to go back to base, without needing more mana. You need to always stay above 80% of your mana pool. Yeah, 80% of your mana pool. Like, what are you doing right now? There's a full creep wave over here, and you're taking a medium camp in the jungle. It's so bad, inefficient. You should have left that. That's not going anywhere. It just spawned. If 13 minutes just spawned, you could have maybe even meteored this lane and then come back and stack this and would have kept this farm there. But instead, you're going to lose this double creep rate. There's 400 gold here, not well, 500 gold actually now. There's more creeps in the mid lane, and there's like, yeah, it's really really bad. You ended up taking only two last hits instead of, like, I don't know, it was 8 or 9. Oh, the centimage. Yeah, coming back you to the mana region, you still don't have enough mana region. Even though CM Aura is maxed out right now, your mana region is struggling a lot. Look, you're always working at a third of your mana pool. Right now, if you use a Sunstrike, that's half of your mana gone, and then you've got only two Alacrities left. You know, and then you have to wait for your existing mana region to kick back in, and it's not a good place to be in. And like, if that situation comes up, let's say you use a Sunstrike, suddenly you don't have enough to Ghost Walk away, and you will die if somebody comes to gank you. So all of these things you have to consider. Like, mana region is a really important thing. HP mana region is a really important thing. Lucky thing for invokers, you don't actually need that much HP region because you do have your cost. But you
Hmm.
did struggle with that in the beginning of the game.
Should
So
I also be getting the tomes of knowledge, or should that be going to supports? Because I
no,
feel
no,
like on Invoker the tomes are really good, but
yeah,
sometimes like my supports will just get like
no, just
angry.
just take the supports yourself. It doesn't matter. Let the supports get angry. Okay. Yeah, that giving up the lane farm for the jungle farm again comes back to, like, basic mechanics. And you're ganking the guy again. That's also really bad. Like, not the guy, but like just ganking in general again. That's not really good. I'm not sure why you have two nulls. It makes no sense to me. And this is why you shouldn't be ganking. You're gonna die now. There you go, 300 gold lost. Oh, not only that, but now you're in this time, dead time. Actually, 31 gold. No, it'll be more than that. You're in this dead time where you're not farming, so it's a lot more gold lost than just how much you lost at death. Because again, you could have been farming, like, you farm around 600 gold per minute when you're farming. And right now you're getting only 100 gold per minute because you're just dead. So you just lost 500 gold for from not farming, and then about 300 gold from the death gold. So that's nearly 1,000 gold that you lost there. And also, this is a waste of 500 gold. Complete waste of 500 gold. Doesn't really help. This is good. Double null is good for stats if you are a hero who is an early game hero, or you want to get some stuff done in the early game. Even if you were playing like Quas Vex Invoker, would have been fine to go for double null,
Mhm.
but no, not at all in this particular situation. Going for double null, complete waste. Doesn't help you in the mana region either. Okay, sure, you got a little bit more base HP, sorry, base mana, but it's so insignificant. It is so insignificant.
So instead of that, you're saying I should start with like a Wraith Band and then go into
No,
just like Aquila?
no, this is fine, but right now you should have had a. Honestly, even one or two clarities would have been better than null. But I would have actually gone for a raindrop, set of raindrop, just one raindrops. All right. This is the only kind of ganks that you should be doing where the ganks are actually happening right in front of you and you don't actually have to go anywhere special. It shouldn't be coming back. What are you coming back for? The guy's dead. Okay. I guess your whole team did respond, but this is time to run away for you. Should be running away. Because you can't really contribute to anything now. Alright, good. Alright. One big thing. This is the second time you've used a shrine, and you've kept all your mana intensive items in your inventory. Now the shrine gives you flat mana. That means that if you put this 10 in, so you get they changed it. Was it 10 or 11 mana per? Shit, I forgot. It used to be 12 mana, 12 12 mana points per int. Is it 11 mana per int? Shit. They just changed it recently. I think it's 11 mana per int. So 10. This means this is 111 mana, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you'd put this in your backpack and brought it out after using Shrine, same goes for this. You would have gotten like 111 extra mana because this is flat mana region, and similarly for point booster, it would have been a lot more mana back. It actually does about a lot. It means a lot. It matters a lot. Another thing is that you've got a magic wand and you've got two null talismans. That's another thing that I don't really like. Like, oh, good
Yeah, that
attempt.
was kind of awkward because he was surged, and I didn't know how long surge would last. I
Yeah,
tried to just like estimate it, barely
yeah.
missed.
What I was saying is that you really, most of my students, they've got empty slots in their inventory. You are using too many slots. This is 500 gold? What is it doing for you? Nothing at all. This is a TP scroll. You need to have it in your backpack. So instead of having two null talismans, you actually didn't need a single null talisman at this point. Or maybe don't go for a stick. So what you should have had is a null talisman and a TP scroll here. You've actually got three TPs. You don't even have a single one in your in your inventory. So you can't quick TP out right now. You can't um, you know TP and go invis or anything like that. You can't TP. If a team fight breaks out or something happens and you need to, let's say you need to go somewhere or something, you can't because you need to wait for 6 seconds. So it's all of these inconsistencies, inefficiencies, really, rather, that you're really struggling with right now. It almost feels like you're trying too hard, and you don't need to. Just keep it simple. 19-minute ags. As we said, considering you got your Midas at like 11 minutes or 12 minutes, 19-minute ag isn't too bad. You finally do sell your TP, so that's good. There's no water in the river anymore.
Yeah, I got the wand. I have an issue where I get wand and I feel like it's only useful for the early laning stage, like the one gank where or the one time the lean almost killed me where it saved me, and then I usually end up like not using it at all after like the first 2 minutes.
Mm. Well, yeah, you didn't use it at all, to be honest, this game. And the thing is with wand, it's like don't just copy these things because the pro players are doing it. If you're not using it, the thing is, wand is useful in team fights and such. Wand is only useful if you're getting charges. You're not gonna get charges in the jungle, are you? So there's absolutely no point in having wand or invoker.
Yeah.
Can stun strike? Can stun strike? Don't need to. Okay. Stun strike? There we go. Nice. Alright. So far so good. Did you actually end up losing this game? Oh, you did end up winning. So this game, everything is just going in your favor. Everything is just happening so perfectly. The enemy team is so uncoordinated. They're coming in one after another. They're dying one after another. They're supposed to be stronger in the early game, and they're not really doing anything in the early game. But I don't know. They seem to be farming. Like I don't know what this guy thinks he's gonna do with the Venge support, just farming. Sorry, Venge carry as just farming Venge carry. You're not gonna you know the way you guys win is if you manage to maintain your racks, like not lose your racks by about 35 minutes. And this team is on a clock. They need to take a racks by about, to be honest, they need to take a racks by about 25-30 minutes, right? So the opposite is happening. They don't give a shit about winning this game. They just kind of wasted your okay, I got it. Wasted your smoke. It didn't need to be in the team fight, but it's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I wanted to save it, and then as soon as I thought they didn't have enough damage.
anti-mage is farmed up. Okay, sure, the bloodseeker is like giving him a hard time, but to be honest, you've got 3 carries, 4 carries, so anti-mage is dying. Nobody cares. Should have gone invis right here. See, this is an issue. If somebody comes in, no way. Oh, would have been pretty good. Somebody had TP'd in here. You would have died for a support kill that you wouldn't have even gotten. There's 2 places people can TP in almost equally as close, and you most likely die there if somebody comes in. But you're lucky the enemy team is so bad that they just don't give a shit. They're so uncoordinated. They're just like feeding. They are feeding. So not exactly the best game to be watching, to be honest. All right. And the longer the game goes, the stronger your team gets, and the weaker the enemy team gets. Um, until anti-mage gets Ags or Linkedins or something, he's just gonna keep dying to the Bloodseeker. But it's not that big a deal, to be honest. Sunstrike, too late. Whoa, he's turning around. That's good. Right. I'm okay with you pushing this, split pushing this. It's completely fine. Now this is where the problem occurs, right? Anti-mage farming jungle, you're split pushing, and your 3 other allies, they just die, and then you die as well because you're split pushing in the 2K bracket. Another reason why I'm not at all a fan of split pushing heroes in lower brackets, just doesn't work. All right, I'm okay to end this replay here. I think we've learned all that we can from this replay.
Mhm.
And as I said, at this point, you guys can't really lose unless you somebody throws super hard, like super 3-2-2 right now, because they don't even have a real carry. This guy, it can potentially be, but he's not enough farmed at this point. He's not even going for any farm orient. Oh, what the hell? Invis, Invis, Invis. There we go. Oh, got dusted. Blink in 6. TP out. Ooh, spent 1 second too long to be honest, but alright, good enough. Going for Lincolns now. Who are you going Lincolns for? Bloodseeker?
Yeah, he ends up
I
getting Ags.
don't ever bother really going for a Bloodseeker, going for a Lincolns against a Bloodseeker simply because he can easily get rid of your Lincolns. He's got his what's it called?
Blood
Bloodlust,
Rage.
Blood Rage. Yeah, Blood Rage, and he will just cast that and then ult you anyway. So I guess you can blink away, so it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. Lincoln is fine.
I just felt like I needed it because of Stomp and the Bloodseeker Silence. If I get Ruptured, I kind of just die in the team fights.
So how is Lincoln gonna help you for those things?
Well, if I the only reason I would be stuck in those, the main reason I got it is if I was Ruptured, and if I wasn't
Ah, right,
Ruptured, then I could blink away instead of getting
right,
hit by
right,
all this.
right. That's like 4 ultis for one hero. If the enemy team is even marginally smart, they'll start fighting you right now, and there's nothing you guys can do about it. And they do fight you, but Lina isn't there for some reason. Okay, now she is. Alt, you fool. Okay, yeah. So that. Wow, there's blood. What is happening? Yeah, that Venge kill ended up being not so great because the Lina is chasing you right now, I believe. Or should be chasing you. Oh, she doesn't even care. Surprising. Alright, I'm gonna end it here.
Okay.
Questions?
Um, no, you kind of explained it. It was like the double null. Yeah, I went for it because I did have mana issues, but I guess mana regen just solves that a lot better.
Yeah,
The
no, what do you call it? Null doesn't solve mana issues. Null just you want to get null and these stat items for exactly that stats. But if you've got a specific issue that you want to solve, you need to get that specific item. you know, um, keep in mind any item that gives extra things is going to be less valuable towards what you actually need. For example, if you need HP, HP, let's say you need HP regen, right? So, or rather, let's say HP. If you need just flat HP, you can go for a BKB. If you look at BKB, it gives you HP, but it gives you all these other things. It costs 4,000 gold and it's only giving you 10 strength, which is like 200 HP. Whereas, for example, a vitality booster costs 4 times as less and gives you more HP. So, whenever you're going for an item, make sure you know what you need and then go for an item. If you are thinking, okay, I need mana regen, then is that the only thing you need? And do you need it in the short term or the long term? Okay, I need mana regen, I need it in the short term. What is the cheapest pure mana regen item that I can get which will solve my issues? 100% clarity. What is another one? Raindrops. So it gives you a little bit something more, which is the let's say durability, which you don't necessarily need 100%, but it's decent instead of having to buy like clarity after clarity just for a little bit of inconvenience and courier management issues. Um, you might just want to invest in a raindrops and just keep it for like 20 minutes, and then you're probably going to just sell it, or it's going to get used up later on. So, but what you don't want to do is invest in um, a null talisman, which actually doesn't give you that much mana. It gives you 6 int, which is 66 mana, which is pretty much just one alacrity, and that's it. You're done. It doesn't give you any mana regen. The mana regen it actually gives you is like 0 point ridiculous. It's nothing at all. So you're basically spending 500 gold to get one alacrity, whereas you could have spent 50 gold to get 3 alacrities.
Hmm.
Yeah. All right.
Is
So
it so? Is it worth it to get raindrop in the lane when it's could get just used up by Dragon Slave, or should I get it after, mainly for the
I
mana
think
regen?
it's good to get it when Dina is about to go 6, because that might actually prevent you from dying to her combo,
Yeah.
right? Because if she stuns you, LSAs you, the raindrops will get used, and it won't be enough damage. And then by the time she throws out her ult, it's very highly likely 6 seconds. I think it's 6 seconds if I'm not mistaken. 5 seconds. Hopefully, 5 seconds will have passed, and when she ults you, you know another charge is gonna get used up, so you're not gonna die. You're gonna survive. So but still, it's worth keeping. But another thing that you can do is just stay full HP, in which case she's not even going to be tempted to go for that kill because she knows she can't kill you, let alone the raindrops, which will guarantee that she doesn't kill you.